Hello and welcome to another beautiful Saturday news review on NT Lagos Channel 10 at 7. I am Oluwabukola Akonde. First, we begin with the news of the day. It was brought to our notice that two people were trapped in an inferno which was consumed several property when a fuel tanker fell and about into flames Friday night in Ijesha area of Surulere local government of the state. Musa Toliat asked the details.
Like a bolt from the blue, residents of Ijesha and its environs were jolted from their sleep as several explosions from the tanker fire rent the air. Spirited efforts by Lagos State Emergency Management Agency and Lagos State Fire and Safety Service later put the inferno in check after battling it into the wee hours of Saturday.
Yesterday, almost 11 o'clock, I was inside that celestial church. I want to do night vigil. Unfortunately, we just got Bora. So immediately after we just see fire, maybe a fair break. When it fair break, it jammed the runabout. That's why the tanker fall down, and all those motor they are parking there. So it's among of those vehicles not there. All the vehicles they burn.
The morning offered a vivid picture of all that were consumed in the overnight tanker fire.
We are going to do some breakers there. I mean bombs there, so that at the end of the day, it will caution some reckless drivers.
Emergency responders and the Lagos State Traffic Management Agency, LASMA, moved swiftly to clear the charred remains of the vehicles to pave way for vehicular movement in and around Ijesha-Sele axis of Surulere and Okota Link Bridge. In Lagos, Musa Toliad, NTA News.
Now we move to the news review in proper and the headlines. We begin with a review by telling that during the week, a team of State House correspondents visited some oil fields in Akwa Ibom Delta and Imo State, which have been primed for President Bola Tinubu to inaugurate soon. The visit was to give the correspondents first-hand information on efforts by the federal government to promote cleaner environment through compressed natural gas, CNG, to power vehicles and for power generation. Correspondent Musbao Dan Wahab, who was part of the visit to one of the oil fields in eastern Obolo local government area of Akwa Ibom State, report.
President Bola Tinubu emerged with a grand plan for Nigeria to join the League of Countries with large fleets of CNG-powered vehicles. The target of the 1 million natural gas-powered vehicles by 2027 for some people certainly looks uncertain. But the administration is evidently banking on its game plan. And the plan is already manifesting in reality like this. Oil Mining Lease, OML-13, an upstream oil field in Akwa Ibom State, is one of such oil and gas projects envisioned and now emplaced by NNPCL and partners as the game changer. The beginning of a fortune here is of this oil block. Well, I'm practically standing on one of the sources of Nigeria's wealth, the oil well of the OML-13, and these are the wellheads, otherwise known as Christmas trees, that produce crude oil to the production plants. And the oil and gas processing facility, with its strategic component, has the capacity to process 60,000 barrels of crude oil, and with these compressors, the plant can also produce 100 million scf of gas per day.
We have the capacity to serve the entire south-south area of CNG. We don't really have a problem with that.
The flow station is installed with 400,000 barrel storage capacity of crude oil. Already, the station has supplied about 47,000 barrels to the sea-going vessel for onward push to the floating storage vessel and then for shipment. And even at the pre-commissioning phase, the plant is already supplying CNG into the local markets.
For now, sometimes we fill about 10 to 12 trucks, and each truck takes about 300,000 in a day. Sometimes we load 20, depends on the number of truck that comes. And each of the vehicle has about 8 tubes, and we take about 300.
Beyond the output capacity of a facility, equally important to the government in this project is the cleaner energy quest with zero flare philosophy.
We don't intend to flare even a single 1 million scoop of gas daily. We intend to reinject all the gas or commercialize all the gas from the asset.
In addition to these plants, the AHL Gas Processing Plant 2, an expansion to the Kwale Gas Processing Plant in Delta State, which now has 200 million scoops of gas per day capacity, the Ano Gas Plant, an integrated 300 million scoops of gas per day capacity, designed to process non-associated gas in Imo State, as well as the gas pipeline project to evacuate dry gas from the Ano Primary Treatment Facility, are all being prepared for inauguration.
Projects like this debunk the notion that Nigeria is not the place for investment. You can see for yourself, this is gas to power, this is gas for industries, this is delivering opportunity to the people of Nigeria. It's more LPG, it's consistent with the aspiration of crashing the price of LPG.
When inaugurated, the administration expects the project to increase gas supply to the domestic market by approximately 500 million scoops per day, while also creating a better investment climate in the sector. In Abuja, Musbal and Wahab, NC News.
Also, during the week, electricity distribution companies announced a downward review of tariff for Band A feeders to 206 naira 80 kobo kilowatt per hour as against 225 naira. The new tariff took effect from May 6, 2024. Meanwhile, tariff for bands B, C, D, and E remain unchanged. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission directed the distribution companies to reduce the tariff for their Band A feeders in view of the current reduction in foreign exchange, which was one of the components considered before the tariff increase in April. The tariff for Band A customers, which was earlier increased from 68 naira due to rise in inflation, exchange rates, and increase in price of gas, is to enable distribution companies recover sufficient revenue and intensive investments in the sector. We also brought you a report that Lagos State announced it has concluded arrangements to set up 5 additional power hubs with a view of sustaining its drive for an effective 24-hour economy and give residents other alternative sources of clean energy. Commissioner for Energy and Mineral Resources Biodun Ogunleye disclosed this during the 2024 ministerial press briefing in Lagos. Joy Ken Abakoya report.
The Commissioner for Energy and Mineral Resources, Biodun Ogunleye, who stressed that renewable energy is the cornerstone of the government's clean electricity plans for Lagos, says additional power hubs earmarked would complement the 6 solar POCs, giving Lagosians a better alternative to power supply across Lagos. He added that there are plans to develop 1 gigawatt of grid-scale solar energy capacity for the clean Lagos electricity market, and over 10 sites considered for the project, including Egbin Terminal Plant Site, Ikorodu, Badagry, Agbara, Ogudu, and others.
To ensuring that feeders in Okun, Ola, Orelope, and a couple of them around Gowon Estate were brought up to standards, and they are doing very well. And at the end of the day, we hope the people of Lagos will have the best outcome in the nation.
The commissioner further disclosed that the administration of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has distributed over 10,000 gas tubes to petty traders to reduce their dependence on firewood and other unclean sources. In Lagos, Joy Ken Abakoya, NTA News.
Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, during the week released additional 531 results, taken from the total of results released to 1,842, while it continues the screening of over 64,000 results withheld. In a statement by its head of public affairs, Fabian Benjamin, the board noted that in the course of the exercise, other cases of examination misconduct were also established, bringing the tally of examination misconduct to 92 from 81 initially discovered. The statement added that the attention of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has been drawn to some fallacious publication purporting that an unknown candidate who did not sit for the board's 2024 UTME obtained scores. This the board described as fake, malicious, and a calculated attempt to undermine its integrity. It, however, urges Nigerians to disregard such irresponsible publications. Senate has passed for second reading a bill to prescribe the salaries, allowances, and fringe benefits of judicial office holders forwarded by the federal government for approval. Taking the lead debate on the executive bill, Senate Deputy Majority Leader Senator Lola Ashiru says the bill seeks to address the prolonged stagnation of remuneration in the judiciary so as to reflect social economy realities. It also aims to improve general welfare by unifying the salary structure and other benefits of judicial officers at the federal and state levels.
Are virtually slaves in our country, and there is no law, no measure of government to protect these Nigerians. This bill will also reduce and deter the propensity of domestic workers' connivance with criminal elements against their employers.
The risk to your family, the risk to your children, and we've had a lot of incidents of this nature, where sometimes you go to work, you come back and the house is empty. And we've also had few incidents where even the employers have been killed by domestic servants, and they sit back inside there and sell the television, sell things and all that. We've had those incidents. I recall one of the female pilots in our country suffered that fate and was unfortunately murdered by the domestic staff. And in the course of selling her properties, the domestic staff was caught.
In another development, Senate has approved 549,674 billion naira budget estimate for the Nigerian Communication Commission and 17 billion naira for the Universal Service Provision Fund Board of the NCC for 2024. Meanwhile, President Tinubu has communicated Senate seeking confirmation of appointment of Abdullahi Usman as chairman of the Code of Conduct for Bureau. The National Judicial Institute, the training arm of the judiciary, in the week inner review, organized an induction course for the new judicial officers in Abuja. It was part of the National Summit on Justice 2024, which places premium on training and retraining of judicial officers, thereby equipping them for the task of adjudication of both civil and criminal cases. Dele Atumbi of our Judiciary Desk reports.
These are the new set of professionals who used to be members of the bar, but now on the bench as judicial officers following their recent appointments. As judicial officers of the Superior Court, they are saddled with the responsibilities of addressing injustice, protecting the rule of law, promoting equality before the law, as well as protecting the fundamental rights of the people. One of the expectations of the National Judicial Council from these new judicial officers is expeditious dispensation of justice. The NJC equally expects them to always be on the side of justice through fair adjudication of matters before them with their integrity intact. As judicial officers, they are to be firm and be open-minded and lead their courtrooms by good example. In the eye of members of the public, they are the last hope of the common man.
You must resist any influences that attempt to compromise your integrity and impartiality. Be humble in recognizing the limits of your knowledge. Be firm, decisive, and open-minded. Develop attentive listening capabilities, yet be masters and leaders of your courtrooms.
This induction course is designed for you to begin to understand the intricacies and techniques involved in the education and judicial proceedings and the expectation placed on you by the litigants, court users, and general public who are interested in justice, human rights, and maintenance of rule of law.
With the team repositioning the courts for better justice delivery, the judicial officers as priests in the Temple of Justice have the onerous task of being upright in all their judicial duties. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
And we'll be going on a quick break. After the short timeout, the news continues. Please stay tuned.
Time for golden season, golden time to win. The rules are simple. Place bets on any sports event. Get promotional tickets. Take part in prize draws. It's golden season, golden time to win. Use the promo code to get your welcome bonus.
Guys, what we're basically doing today is to search for the tastiest biscuits ever on the playground. Are you guys ready? Yeah! The search starts in 3, 2, 1. Let's go!
Sona biscuits are rich in flavor, nourishment, and excitement. Grab a bite today.
Davido, you've been nominated in multiple award categories. How do you stay winning?
Simple. I keep my eyes on the game.
Happy Children's Day, Happy Children's Day to children all around the world.
It's fun time again when we celebrate our precious gifts from God. The annual NTA Lagos Channel 10 Children's Day Party in commemoration of the International Children's Day with the theme Inclusion for Every Child. This year's edition will feature match past, beauty pageant, games, quiz, schools presentation, watch your favorite artist performance, bouncy castles, and lots more. Schools, families, churches are invited to participate in this fun-filled party. Gate fee, 2,000 naira per child. Date, Monday, 27th May 2024. Venue, NTA Lagos Channel 10, Tejo Shoyaba. Time, 10 a.m. For inquiries, please call Peace on 006-286-0936 and Fadeke on 003-913-8161 and Jimo on 003-830-1669. NTA Lagos Children's Day Party promises to be a wonderful experience. Don't miss it. Happy Children's Day!
Still on the stories that made headlines during the week, the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory sitting Maitama granted bail to the former Minister of Aviation, Adi Sirika, and 3 others. The trial judge, Justice Silvanus Origi, admitted the 4 defendants to bail in the sum of 100 million naira each and 2 sureties in like sum. Miriam Emeka Amadi of our Judiciary Desk reports.
Financial Crimes Commission has arraigned on a 6-count charge the former Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika, his daughter Fatima Sulehama, and Al Burak Global Investment Limited, a company where Hadi Sirika allegedly has invested interest in. The defendants are standing trial on alleged financial crimes
to the tune of 2.8 billion naira. The FCC alleged Hadi Sirika used his position as the minister to confer undue advantage on his daughter and son-in-law by allegedly giving them contracts. Hadi Sirika pleaded not guilty and denied the alleged corrupt practices involving 2.8 billion naira. Similarly, his daughter and son-in-law pleaded not guilty to the 6-count charge. After the arraignment, the defense counsel Mahmoud Magaji SAN, who stood in for Fatima, and Sanusi Musa SAN, counsel to Jalal Suleiman, moved the application for their bail, pleading for mercy, not to be given conditions they cannot afford. The counsel to the former minister, Kanu Agabi SAN, asked the court to be liberal in granting him bail. Although the bail request applications were opposed by the prosecution counsel Rotimi Jacobs SAN, justice already granted the 3 defendants bail in the sum of 100 million naira and 2 sureties each in like sum.
There are other issues that were introduced, like the Nigerian Airways, the Ethiopia something, which we added to it. So it was not there originally, but Nigerian Air matter is there are 2 counts on it. That's why we amended it.
The sureties must be responsible citizens with verifiable home addresses, while one of them must have landed property with a certificate of occupancy signed by the FCT minister. If the defendants are unable to perfect their bail conditions, justice already ordered that they should be remanded in prison custody until the time they perfect their bail conditions. The matter has been adjourned to 10th June 2024 for commencement of trial. Miriam Emekamadi, NTA News.
Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji Ojo said the federal government is working towards provision of conducive environment for inmates by building modern correctional centers with facilities that will add value to their lives. The minister stated this at a meeting with the Senate Committee on Interior over the recent Suleja prison collapse. National Assembly correspondent Isa Mohammed Asmo.
Suleja Correctional Center was built in 1914 with capacity for 200 inmates, but it has been overstretched to more than 400. Following the incessant prison breaks across the country and the most recent, the Suleja incident, Senate Committee on Interior invites the Minister and Comptroller General of Nigerian Correctional Service for the way forward.
And we also discussed about solutions in terms of making sure that this doesn't happen again. And I can tell you the federal government is in control of this. Everything is under control. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is actually putting in everything through the Ministry of Interior and the Nigerian Correctional Service to make sure that there's no reoccurrence, and we have a correctional center. We have correctional center that is safe for all inmates.
Committee members unanimously agree that the agency needs more funding to meet global best practices.
The good news is that they have what it takes to retract them, and they have already rearrested some of them, and the effort is ongoing. We are satisfied, very satisfied with the minister's briefing. I believe he's doing what needs to be done. But going forward, we have to do what we have to do to appropriate more resources to modernize our prisons. They are made to be correctional.
The meeting that later entered into closed door also discussed overcrowding and awaiting trial inmates. From the National Assembly, Isa Muhammad, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has asked the Central Bank of Nigeria to suspend the proposed introduction of cybersecurity levy on electronic transactions. Adopting a motion by a minority leader, Kingsley Chinda, the House noted that the proposed 0.5% levy on electronic transactions is opened to multiple interpretations at the time citizens are grappling with the effects of removal of subsidies from petroleum and electricity, as well as rising inflation.
Multiple interpretations, including that the levy be paid by bank customers,
that is Nigerians, against the letter and spirit of Section 44(2)A of the Act, which specified businesses that should be levied accordingly. The House is worried that this act has led to apprehension as civil society organizations and citizens of the country have taken to conventional and social media to call out the federal government, give ultimatums for reversal of the imposed levy on Nigerians, amongst others.
In other resolutions, the Green Chamber also called for urgent resuscitation of the power plants in Bayelsa State to contribute significantly to the national grid.
$400 million and valued as of today with over $800 million. The management of the Niger Delta Power Holding Company is proposing to designate the 252 megawatt open cycle power station as a construction site. The House resolved to urge the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who is the chairman of the board of the Niger Delta Power Holding Company, to summon emergency meeting of the board for urgent resuscitation of the Barai power plant in order to increase national grid.
Still on the stories that made headlines during the week, in a significant effort to combat sexual and gender-based violence in Nigeria, the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NATIP, and Justice Research Institute during the week organized a 3-day knowledge-building workshop for police officers. Amina Baba Suleiman reported that the workshop aimed at empowering gender desk officers and police prosecutors with the necessary skills to handle such sensitive cases. The report.
Gender-based violence have been on the increase in recent times. Records indicate that more than 25,000 cases of sexual and gender-based violence were recorded in the country between the year 2020 and 2023. Professor Fatima Waziri Azi, the Director General of NAPTIP, says police officers, especially gender desk officers, need continuous training to understand relevant laws, protocols, and investigative techniques to gather evidence to handle the legal aspect of such cases effectively.
For us as an agency in NAPTIP, last year we received about 1,200, a little over 1,200 complaints. And top on the list was abandonment was number 1, spousal battery was number 2, inflicting physical injury, especially on children, was number 3. Then we had rape, number 4.
This is a collaborative effort to ensure that it's not just kicking the can further down the road. It's that with the police, with institutions like NAPTIP, with the National Human Rights Commission, as they're also helpful in this endeavor.
NAPTIP partners are of the view that investing in training is essential in prosecuting and preventing further victimization and advancing justice for victims.
So we have our gender desk officers and police prosecutors that are meant for this training, and the idea is to build their capacity to respond very effectively to cases of gender-based violence, to ensure that all victims or survivors of gender-based violence get the justice that they deserve.
In 2022, the agency secured 4 convictions in the FCT and 1 rape conviction in Sokoto State, and recently secured 2 convictions in the FCT and 3 convictions in Sokoto. Amina Baba Suleiman, NTA News.
And that concludes the news tonight. Once again, thanks for joining us on NTA Lagos Channel 10 Saturday News Review at 7. I am Oluwabukola Akonde. A very good evening to you.